Has God ever gone quiet just when you needed Him most? Doors that used to open suddenly close. Prayers feel like they hit a ceiling. You ask, is God testing me? If that's where you are, listen carefully. There are 3 crucial signs that what you're walking through is not punishment, but preparation. Before elevation comes examination. If this message is landing with you, subscribe so you can grow through seasons like this. The first sign is silence. Not the calm of reassurance, but a felt absence when you cry out for clarity. Scripture gives us examples of faithful people who met the hush and did not withdraw. Think of Hezekiah. 2 Chronicles 32:31 records how God allowed a trial that exposed the king's heart. Think of Job, who after losing everything fell on the ground and worshipped. Job 1:20. Silence is not always a shut door. Often it is a space God uses to reveal the depth of your trust. I remember a young woman who had been faithfully applying for roles for months. Doors closed. Recruiters stopped answering. She wondered if God had abandoned her. Instead of quitting, she kept showing up. Prayer, small acts of service, learning new skills. Months later, she stepped into a role that matched a calling she hadn't realized she had. How do you pass this silence? Worship in the quiet. Keep seeking, consistently, humbly. Resist despair. Trust that God's silence can be a refining mirror that shows what you truly rely on. The second sign is the stretch. This is when God calls you into a task bigger than your capacity feels able to handle. Moses faced a people in bondage with an uncertain voice. Gideon was asked to lead armies he felt too small for. Peter was invited to step out onto the water. Deuteronomy 8:2 frames the wandering in the wilderness as a process of testing and teaching. God humbles and stretches to form a faithful heart. Stretching hurts because growth requires more than comfort. It presses you into dependence. I've seen people on church teams say yes to responsibilities they were terrified of, leading a small group, counseling a struggling friend, starting a ministry at work, and those yes moments produced unexpected resilience and new gifts. The practical response is simple and hard. Obey even when afraid. Say, "Yes, Lord," and move forward with whatever grace you have. Do the next obedient step, not the entire mountain at once. Growth hides inside the discomfort. The third sign is delay. Waiting is the most frequent test of the life of faith. Abraham's life contains seasons of waiting and testing. Genesis 22 is one of the great tests of his heart. Joseph endured years between dreams and deliverance. Psalm 105:19 speaks of how the Lord tested him until the word came to pass. Delay does not mean denial. It is a schoolroom. I know a man who spent a decade refining a small business, longer than he planned, learning how to manage people, handle finances, and steward reputation. That 10-year season matured him so that when fruit came, he could sustain it and mentor others. How do you steward delay? Use the waiting to learn and to serve in small ways. Strengthen your character and your craft. Replace impatience with steady, faithful action. Journal what God is teaching you. Invest in relationships. Remember that delays develop endurance. These 3 signs, silence, stretch, delay, do not exist in isolation. They often come together. You might experience a quiet season while God stretches you and makes you wait. The point is not that trials are punishment. The Bible consistently portrays testing as a refining process meant to produce faithfulness and maturity. Tests precede testimonies. James 1:12 promises blessing for those who persevere under trial, and the blessing is tied to the reward of hearing, "Well done," a testimony that follows faithful endurance. So what does passing a test look like in real life? First, keep worshiping when you feel nothing. Worship aligns your heart to God more than your circumstances do. Second, obey when the call outruns your courage. Small, faithful steps matter more than bold, reckless leaps. Third, steward the waiting season like a training ground. Learn, serve, and prepare rather than tallying losses. A sober word of caution. None of this is a formula. Saying the right prayers, stepping out in faith, or waiting patiently does not guarantee a promotion, instant healing, or material blessing. The outcome belongs to God. What Scripture promises is growth, refinement, and the possibility of a testimony that glorifies Him. Be wary of any teaching that equates obedience with automatic reward. Real faith trusts God's timing and purposes, not a checklist. If you find yourself in one of these signs today, lean into the posture God is shaping. Worship in the silence. Obey in the stretch. Steward the delay. Tests are uncomfortable, but they are not wasted when you hold fast. The story of your perseverance may become the testimony that encourages someone else, and it may open doors you never saw coming. If this is your season, speak it aloud in the comments. I'm in the test, but I'm not quitting. Tell us which sign you recognize, silence, stretch, or delay, and subscribe so you don't miss encouragement for the road ahead. Remember this: tests come before testimonies. Keep trusting. Keep obeying. Keep waiting.